Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. I want to apologize right now, my window is open because it's hot in here if I don't, so you're hearing somebody mow their grass and any passerbyers because my room is at the front of the house. So anytime I film a video with my window open, you hear everything pretty much. And I am here with this video. I have been talking about this video. I'm like, I'm gonna film a big video, and I thought I was gonna have a lot longer to do this video. But it is currently Tuesday, and the new season to Girl Meets World premieres Monday. So I don't have as long as I thought I would. But I think it is very exciting that they're getting it out there as quick as they are. But it puts a lot of pressure on me. I have wanted to do this video since probably the 4th episode. And I wanted to do this because before Girl Meets World premiered, I decided to upload a video talking about my hopes and expectations for Girl Meets World, because I am a huge Boy Meets World fan. I said friend, but hey, I can be the friend. I'm a huge fan. I declare it my favorite show of all time. There is Dream Try Do Good, if you don't know that already, because you may just be stumbling upon this video. But I have done pretty much homework. I have took notes during episodes and decided on like how I felt about it and all that as a big Boy Meets World fan, and now as a Girl Meets World fan. So I would like to talk about it with you guys, and I will warn you now, warning, there are spoilers. So if you're wanting to not watch this because of spoilers, I completely understand, but I just wanted to give the warning. So thank you for watching this far, I guess, if you're gonna leave now. I have other videos you're welcome to check out. But hello everyone that's sticking around. I'm going to pretty much go through almost every episode. This is gonna be quite the lengthy video, and I apologize, but it is a review, so that is why. So let's, of course, start out with the pilot. It says, alright, opening pilot, the theme song. I had listened to it a couple days before the show premiered, and I was okay, this is nice, I like it. And come to find out, it's performed by Sabrina Carpenter, who plays Maya on the show. So I thought that was really neat that she got to sing the theme song. But let's, of course, start with the pilot episode. So the episode starts, and I see created by Michael Jacobs and April Kelly. That was an amazing thing to see, because if you're not aware, that is the original creators of Boy Meets World. So to see that again, it was reassuring. It was very exciting to see. The first episode, of course, of any show, you know, they're trying to get the show out there, bring back viewers. And there were a few really moments, and I was very concerned about that, because that was one of my, you know, things I was hoping for. Not to have any, like, really moments, because there's so many shows on Disney Channel that leave you like, what? But, you know, this was the pilot, so I didn't let it, you know, get to me too much. Then there was, Maya was rebellious, you know, how Shawn was always rebellious, you know, of course. And some of the things she did was way over the top. And I was just like, whoa, like, Shawn wouldn't have done this, you know? And so then there was, this made me very happy. You remember how Cory would do a nervous laugh in Boy Meets World? If you're not aware, if you're just here for a Girl Meets World review, Cory would do a nervous laugh, and he'd be like, you know, type thing. Well, Riley did that, and so that was amazing to see, and it was really well done. I'm proud of her for nailing that. Cory is going to be a great teacher. Honestly, I think he did an amazing job. He's bringing lessons, and it's exciting to see. Farkle, which is a nerd on the show. He is so funny. He is hilarious. He cracks me up. He cracked me up on the very first episode. So he's definitely one of my favorites. Let's see. They drop the fact that Riley, Cory and Topanga, I go to say Cory and Shawn. Cory and Topanga's daughter must meet the world, make it her own, and they will always be there. But it's what I put on my notes. Girl Meets World is born. And this is a spoiler, but crazy. They were at the subway station telling Riley, like, you know, go have fun, do whatever. And all of a sudden, there's Mr. Feeney. I literally screamed, oh my gosh, I was home alone, so how could I not? And so I did, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's Mr. Feeney. And he says, job well done, Mr. Matthews. And then he looks back and he's gone. I'm like, they better not have killed Mr. Feeney. That's all I could think. And I was so upset, but I was so happy to see Feeney. And it was just like, I can't believe it. That was exciting, and it was a great way to end the first episode. So on to, did I skip around that much? I'm looking at my notes. I'm sorry. Episode 3 is called Girl Meets Sneak Attack. This episode lets you see inside a young girl's head when, like, you know, their crush pays attention to another girl, or they think another girl likes their crush. It lets you really see that, because, you know, we've all been there. And it's so funny because Farkle wants to learn how to flirt, and it's so funny because he starts to like film how Minkus always liked to bang them, and it was just really funny to see. Augie, he is their son. He is 5 years old, and he is cute as can be. He has a lot of like silly one-liners because he's not been on every episode. Of course, the show is focused around Riley, but I think it's very funny what the things this kid says. He is so cute. There was one he was talking about, he liked this girl that lives in like their apartment complex, and he was like, Mommy, or what did he say? I quoted it as, he was like, Mommy, she's this many and I'm this many. I mean, it was adorable how he said it. And so the girl, back to the girl that was making Riley jealous, she doesn't approve of Lucas, which is the boy that Riley likes, being friends with them. And so he makes a huge mature decision and decides not to be even her friend because of how he treated his friends. And that's just like, wow, that was good. This one, oh my goodness, Girl Meets Father. This episode gave me all the feels, you know. Riley wanted to break tradition of going to Coney Island and go to a school dance, and Cory was not all about that. Cory was like, tradition is tradition, and all of this, and she wanted to go to the dance, and so Cory was like, fine, make your own decision, whatever, you know, type thing. And so she ends up going to the dance, and Cory decides, oh wait, I'm gonna chaperone, you know, and so he chaperones, and so she's talking to him, and, you know, at the end of the dance, Cory announced, you know, let's all, like, all the dads are there to pick up their kids, and it's like, okay, let's, and he announces that the dads should dance with their daughters, and Maya stands back because her dad is not in the picture, and so she just stands back there, and Riley asks Cory something along the lines, I can't get the exact quote, there's always room for new traditions, right? And Cory says yes, and more than one daughter, and he dances with Riley and Maya, and it was so sweet because Cory is pretty much taking Maya under his wing, and it's so sweet. I can't help it. This is the next episode, Girl Meets Truth. This was a good episode. This showed you the value of telling friends the truth even when it may hurt them. Farkle sang in I believe it was Romeo and Juliet, and he thought he was amazing. Like, and Riley just told him, yeah, you were great, when really he wasn't. And so, you know, the whole time, you know, actor, he wasn't a singer, he was just an actor. And so he goes on thinking, you know, he's great, and he wants to go really far with it. And Maya ends up finding a locket, and the whole time she claims it's from her father, who she never sees. And Riley asks her, you know, why are you lying to me? I'm your best friend. You don't have to lie to me. You can tell me the truth always. You know, true things. You can always tell your best friend things. And so then Maya finally shows Riley what's inside the locket. And it's a family. You know, a mom, a dad, and a daughter. And she says they look happy. And that's why she kept it, because she wants to look that happy, and she wants a family. And it was like, oh my gosh, you know, feelings. And so then they're at the subway station, and they end up seeing the family inside the locket, and Maya gives the locket back. But it was very sweet, and naturally Maya and Riley end up telling Farkle the truth, and he says, you know, you can always tell me the truth. You know, I'd rather be told the truth than lied to. You know, all that. And on to the next. They like their music. On to the next. Think this. Let's see. Okay. This one is called Girl Meets Popular. This one brought back a lot of like Boy Meets World vibes when Riley is invited to a party and Maya is not. If you recall, there was an episode of where Cory was invited to a party and Shawn was not. Okay, and so then Riley gets to the party and it's a geek party. And I think that's what they called Cory's. I can't remember, or a nerd party or a freak party. I think it was a geek party for him too. And so then they flash back to Boy Meets World. They literally show a clip from Boy Meets World, and it was so exciting. I think I was like, oh my goodness, because what was going on is Topanga was helping an elderly woman. I'm reading from my notes, so I don't miss anything. I am so sorry. I can't talk today. Topanga is helping an elderly woman keep her shop despite the fellow lawyer that is in the firm with her is trying to take it away. And so she's I can't say the word, so I'm not going to say it. She's trying to think, am I doing the right thing? So she's standing in front of the mirror and she's like, am I still the same Topanga? And Cory said, of course you're the same Topanga. You just, he's how he worded it, I don't remember. And so it flashes back to when she was sitting in front of him and was like, give me your hand. And he's looking at her like, what? And she's like, look, I want to see if I think she says auras are compatible. And it was a nice little flashback to see. Okay, and so I was looking up things and I did not notice this, but Topanga says to the lawyer trying to take I think it was just a bakery, away from this woman, and said she claims that they have always done well together, but now it was time to do good. Dream, try, do good. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, people that notice that stuff, that's awesome. I wish I could, but awesome. And every time I read that, I naturally hear Topanga say, don't you mean do well? And Topanga's like, no, do good. So Topanga did good, and that just made me so happy. And this episode showed how you don't need to change to be popular. And you are who you are, because like Riley ended up like dressing up as a geek or whatever, and I was like, you're not the girl I know. The girl I know is perfectly fine. So it was a good episode. This episode is entitled Girl Meets Mother. And Maya has an art show. Maya's insanely talented when it comes to art. So she has an amazing piece of art, and Riley asked her about her mom coming, and she said, it's not gonna happen. And so a little bit of Boy Meets World flashback too, not literally, like they didn't show a clip, but when Shawn was doing something and Cory went to the diner, I think it was even a diner then, it's a diner here too, he went to go talk to Shawn's mom. He was like, come back. You gotta be here for Shawn. So Riley kind of did the same thing for Maya. It was like, you gotta come to our show and all this. And she tells her what she's missing out on. And Cory and Topanga come to support Maya. And it's amazing. And Cory and Topanga tell her how proud of her they are. And it's just so heartwarming that they're being so supportive of Maya and everything. And I love it. Okay, I still have quite a while, so if you're getting bored, I'm so sorry. But if you're actually interested, hi! Okay, so Girl Meets Forgotten is the next episode, and this is where the girls, Riley and Maya, and then Lucas and Farkle, have to, and the rest of the class, but of course it just shows the four main characters, have to go off and like work with somebody in the school that like doesn't get a lot of recognition. And so let's start with Riley and Maya. Riley and Maya have to go help the lunch lady and help her out. And Lucas and Farkle, they go help Harley, the janitor. And if you're thinking Harley Kiner, yeah, it was Harley Kiner. It was awesome and crazy to see. Poor guy's pretty much bald, but it was just so great to see. And he's talking to him and saying, you can do this, don't forget about the little type thing. And then I waited and waited, and like I think it was the last scene Harley called Cory Baboon. I was like, yes! That's what I was waiting for. If you watch Boy Meets World, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, that's what Harley called Cory on Boy Meets World. Okay, on to the next one. This is probably my favorite episode of season 1. This is Girl Meets Flaws. Girl Meets Flaws was great. The fellow student, I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes again, named Billy, said to Farkle that he wears weird clothes, and that he, you know, he wears weird clothes, and he doesn't need to, you know, be here or something like that, like, really mean. And so Farkle takes it to heart, and it's heartbreaking. Like, I think I cried, honestly, and Farkle disappears for a few days, and he ends up having this, like, weird device that kind of looks like a webcam, I guess, like the old ones that would attach to the computer, and says, like, you know, he's not coming to class, but, like, he can talk to Cory, so, like, he's there, but he's not. And he's hiding out in Harley Kiner's supply closet, and Riley finds him and talks to him and says, you know, you need to come back to class. And he said he was a big nothing, and he, you know, yeah, he doesn't want to be told anymore that he was a big nothing. He didn't deserve friends like Riley, Maya, and Lucas. And so she hugs him and just tells him, you know, it's gonna be okay. And so in gym class, Billy, I mean, little Billy, Billy Bully, I think somebody pointed out that's probably why his name is Billy, because it's so close to Bully. But anyway, he tells Lucas he doesn't see why he's friends with Farkle, and confused, he's like, why? Farkle's great. And he says, you know, and Billy's like, he's not like us. And Lucas is like, what do you mean? That's what makes Farkle Farkle. And he's like, well, I forget what he said, because he said something and pushes Lucas over the edge. And Maya's like, get him, you know, and he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And he talks and uses his words. Again, Lucas made a very mature decision. And at the end, each kid has on their forehead a flaw. And so Riley has insecure, Maya has broken, Farkle has nothing, Lucas has Mr. Perfect. And Billy ends up getting jealous written on his head, because he is jealous that, you know, Farkle, Maya, Riley, and Lucas are all great friends. And this part, I totally cried. Cory says something about friends helping you forget your flaws. Or, like, yeah, he says something about, like, how your friends help you forget your flaws. And Billy ends up wiping away himself. Farkle's nothing. And it was just like, see, Farkle, you're not a nothing. And it was so touching. I cried. I even noted that. I cried. And it's just, you know, always be who you are. And it was a great episode. But on to the next. Riley has the opportunity to babysit Augie in the episode called Augie Meets Brother. Or Augie Meets Brother. Girl Meets Brother. They're all girl meets whatever. And so Augie wants to go with Cory and Topanga on their anniversary, and they're like, no. And Topanga says, Mommy and Daddy haven't been out. And Cory's like, 3 weeks and 4 days. Like, he knows the exact amount of time, and I laughed so hard. Well, Augie helps tie Cory's tie. I just thought this was really cute. It's nothing major, but I just thought it was really cute. He helps him tie his tie, and it's a bow. Like, you're trying to tie a shoe. And he's like, how do I look? And he's like, you look like a shoe, Daddy. And it was really cute. And they're celebrating their anniversary, and it was their 15-year anniversary, which is crazy to think about. I know they're just, you know, TV show characters, but 15 years? Wow, crazy. So then Maya comes over, and they really get caught up in a TV show. And they, but come to find out, Augie had planned a whole night for him and Riley. And so it, like, in his room, it said, like, Riley and Augie and something, or I forget what he wrote. And he goes in his room and tears it down, and it's so sad to me. Hey, I'm trying to film a video here. I got really loud all of a sudden. Anyway, Topanga says, or no, Cory says, we've been married 15 years. That's the longest anybody's been married to a Topanga. So, for some reason that made me laugh. Flashback to Cory and Topanga's first kiss, and when Topanga proposed to Cory. And it was just so sweet, and I loved it. And it was literally flashbacks, like clips, and it was great. I love when they do that. Let's see. And then Augie wants Riley to spend time with him, and then ends up telling Maya, you can just have her. And it breaks my heart because he wants so badly to be, you know, with him and not Maya. And it's so funny because Augie's like, I gotta get her to succeed at this or something, or I get a baby brother. And Cory's like, yeah, baby brother, baby brother. And Topanga's like, no. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, Cory, like, or oh my gosh, Disney, because it's like, oh my gosh, innuendo, innuendo. And next episode, I'm just trying to hurry because this is already pretty long, I am sure. Girl meets home for the holidays, and oh my gosh, so many feelings in this episode, because guess what? Shawn is back. Shawn came back, and so did Cory's parents and Uncle Josh. Uncle Josh has grown up. It's crazy to see. I think he's like 16, 17 now, and it's like, what? It's crazy. But Maya doesn't believe that Shawn is real, and Riley's like, I don't think Shawn likes me. And so when they're getting ready for Shawn to come over, you should see Cory and Topanga decorating the tree. And there's a huge ornament. I'll show you a picture. And it says, you know, you saw, but it says Cory and Shawn forever. And he puts it right in front of Cory and Topanga's Christmas ornament. And Topanga's like, my whole life. And it's so funny because it really has been her whole life. And so then Amy comes. If you're not aware who Amy is Cory's mom. Comes over and is like a stereotypical in the movies mother-in-law. You know, like gives you a hard time, tells you what you do wrong, all this stuff. And I didn't like that because Amy was never like that. And you know, Girl Meets World, she gave her Boy Meets World, I'm sorry. She gave her criticism, but she was never harsh as she was in this episode. Like she was telling Topanga like how she cooked wrong and all this stuff, but then come to find out she made this soup or whatever that Amy used to make, and she's like, oh, this is really good job, Topanga, but she never did that, so why now? That's what I want to know. But anyway, Maya thinks Uncle Josh is attractive, and it's very obvious, and it's kind of weird, not gonna lie, but oh my gosh, fear not, when Cory saw Shawn, his face was priceless, both of their faces, and they just hugged each other, and it was great, and I enjoyed every second of it. And so they just reconnected, or like the connection was as real as it used to be, and that's what I was hoping for, especially with Cory and Topanga. And I didn't know at the time that Shawn was gonna be on there, so yes, with Shawn too, with everybody. And so it was really great to see that was there. And so he called him Cor, like all the times, and so that was great. And so Josh asked Shawn, you know, am I cooler than you yet? And he's like, nope, but he's starting to worry. And it's kind of great that they're even close, Uncle Josh and Shawn, and I love that. And Cory is like standing there, and he's like, how great is this? My favorite person in the universe and my wife. They fall asleep on the couch for a minute, Cory and Shawn, and they do their old snores like they used to do in Boy Meets World. So I thought that was great. And Maya's third degree on Shawn was a little bit like, okay, calm down, please. It was like I didn't like it, but Riley, Maya, and Shawn go out for dessert, and she's talking to him and talking to Shawn. Maya is, I'm sorry, I'm not making this clear, and she's like, why didn't you like Riley? And he's like, whoa, why didn't you think I liked Riley? And you know, all this, and I forget the explanation, but he's like, I was at the hospital when she was born. And so he's like, you know, I was the first one to hold her besides Cory and Shawn. I know her birth weight, I know what time she was born, etc, etc, etc. Do you know that? And like, she's like, you got me. And Riley says, look at me. And she's like, look at me, in like a deep voice, I think. And he's like, I'm looking at you. And she grabs his, oh wait, that wasn't it yet. She's like, look at me. He's like, I'm looking at you. And she grabs his face and says, look at me. Like, and he's like, and he smiles, and she's like, you're Cory with Topanga's hair. You got lucky. And so I was just like, I don't know, feelings. So many feelings. And so then Riley wants him to express how they feel. And Cory calls Shawn Shawnee, and it just cracked me up. And so they, you know, Cory asked him, why did you leave the city? You know, he ended up leaving because his friend had a kid, and things change when people have kids, and he doesn't know how to be a cool uncle. And Farkle shows up, and this made me laugh, that's why I put this in here. Farkle shows up, and he's like coming through Riley's window, whatever. Why this is a thing, I don't know, but Cory and Shawn are sitting there, and he pokes his head in, and Shawn goes, "Minkus?" And it introduces, Cory introduces him, and he's like, and he's in shock that Minkus reproduced. He's like, "Minkus reproduced?" So it was kind of funny. And Cory jokes he was cloned in a lab. I think Shawn actually made this joke. I don't remember. It makes a joke he was cloned in a lab or something, and Minkus questions not seeing his birth certificate. It was like, oh my gosh. So he's like, "I gotta go." So it was really funny. Riley has Shawn talk to Maya because they, have similar lives. His parents really even weren't really, active parents and all that. So he talks to him and all that, and Alan, Cory's dad, ends up telling him, "Good son, good husband, good father, good for you." And it was really nice. And I forget who said it, but good friends should never be apart too long. So that was really nice. Alright, girl meets game night. Uncle Josh joins for family game night. I'm trying to make this quick because I know it's been going on a long time, and I'm sorry. Maya obviously has a thing for Josh, and it's kind of weird, honestly, but whatever. And so Riley's like, "Here I am, John Quincy Adams." And Riley said, "You're John Adams." And he said, "But our school is John Quincy Adams." He's like, "But my school is John Adams." And he's like, "Your school was she says, "Your school was the father of my school?" And he's like, "Yep, and I'll be your teacher next year." If you watch Boy Meets World. Anyway. And Cory says Riley has made a good choice in her friends, and life is a long game. And that was a crazy quote that spoke to me on a deeper level. Josh tells Maya he's too old for her, and she acts like she's up for the challenge. So that was odd to me. But on to the next. I think that's the last episode. No. I am so sorry. This is a longer video than I even anticipated. This episode is called Girl Meets Master Plan. Shawn is back again, which is amazing because I thought he was not going to be on any episodes, but he was on 2, so that was great. It's Maya's 14th birthday, and Maya's mom forgot. And so Shawn gets mad and goes and talks to Maya's mom. Hugs Maya, Shawn does, and it's like, aw, because he cares about her so much because he sees himself in her and all that. And Cory and Topanga get Maya a cake, and Shawn's like, "Whoa, dude, you only got her a cake?" But it was sweet. And so everybody leaves us. What's wrong with us? And that's what Maya, said to Shawn. And he briefly opens up that him and Angela left him because, if you're not aware, when Boy Meets World ended, that was kind of unclear what was going on with that. So she pulls Cory into a scheme and gets him back into the game. And so he's like, and she says, "I want Shawn to be Maya's dad." And he's like, "What?" And Maya opens up about her life to Shawn, and that was very nice to see. Maya finds out that Shawn's going to see her mom, Katie, and he's like, she's gonna make him run for the hills. She makes everybody leave, blah, blah, blah. But Katie says that Maya doesn't need to stop talking to Shawn. He's a good guy and all that, and he ends up paying for another half of a locket that her mom got her for her birthday. And she's like, "You can pay me back as long as you let me take the picture." And so Shawn tells Maya the truth about her dad not leaving her, and Katie gets mad. This episode, almost done. Yes, almost done. Girl Meets Choice. Farkle is going to an award ceremony, but he can only take one friend, and he wants to take Maya or Riley. And they keep going back and forth, saying like, "I should go, no, I should go." But then at the same time, they've never wanted to do anything with Farkle before, so it's like, why now, guys? But they're doing the morning news, and Riley is getting really nervous, and it reminded me of Topanga. And it was so funny to see little things that they had her do throughout the season that were a lot like what Cory and Topanga did. And so Riley and Maya start battling over who's going to go with Farkle. And he ends up saying, "I'm Canada, I'm not deciding, whatever," because they're talking about how Canada Canada is the United States' most reliable ally. Jane Lynch was still in this episode, which was crazy, and I think she played herself, which was kind of funny. But you know, she didn't really have a big role, but she was funny. And in the end, Farkle makes the choice that he's not taking either one of them. He doesn't want to tear apart their friendship, and so they end up surprising him and both going. So that was sweet. And then the last episode of season 1. Season 1 ended with Girl Meets First Date. Cory is realizing his daughter is around the age to start dating. Naturally, Cory freaks out a bit, and you can tell Lucas is wanting to ask Riley, but he wants to ask Cory first, which is very nice. But Cory avoids him, and even like locks him out of the classroom, I think. And so Maya sees that the constant battle going on, and so she walks up to him and asks him out. And devastated, Riley's like, you know, you can have him, and she's upset, and she's like, you know, he didn't like me anyway, and she's like, you know, I have to still attend the wedding, you know, just like going on and on and on. And Maya's like, wait, I don't like Lucas, and he doesn't like me, he likes you. And you know, Uncle Josh comes, and Maya really likes Uncle Josh, and Josh tells her that she has to understand he is 3 years older than her and they can't be together. And Lucas comes to Riley's home and finally talks to Cory and asks him, and he says that you know, fine, you can take her out on a date, but Maya and Farkle must go with you. So that was kind of funny. And you know, Cory blamed Maya for all this, so that's why she had to go out on the date with him, with Farkle too. And so Riley comes out from being ready, and they meet, I believe, at the subway station where they always meet. It seems, and adorably enough, he says, "This is one of the moments you'll remember forever." And him and Farkle were just talking about how, you know, Farkle's like, "What am I gonna do? I'm nervous." Blah, blah, blah. He's like, "It's okay, you know, just talk." Blah, blah, blah. He's like, "Yeah, but I'm not good at it." He's like, "Fine, I'll do all the talking now." And he sees when he sees Riley, he gets speechless, and it's so sweet that Lucas gets speechless. I don't know, it's just a cute little thing. And so while they're on the subway, Riley spots Josh with this girl, and it's like, "No, don't look, Maya, don't look." And she naturally looks, and she gets upset. And what she doesn't realize, this somebody is somebody talking to Josh about college and all of that, and the girl is talking to him, and she drops the fact, you know, because Josh was like, "Oh, you know, I had a good time, we should do this again." And she's like, "Whoa, I'm just a college coach," or whatever she called herself. And she's like, "I'm 3 years older than you, we can't do this." And he looks upset, and so she goes over to him and was like, "Hurts, doesn't it?" And he's like, "Yeah, I see what's going on, I'm sorry." And he's like, "I'm sorry I dropped that on you too." And you know, Lucas sees that Maya's upset, and Lucas gets off, Josh gets off the subway, and Lucas tells her, you know, "Go be with your friend." And so on the very first episode, Riley goes over to Maya, and she's like, "I'm gonna help you, you've helped me long enough." And so she makes her like let go of the pole, and she ends up in Lucas's lap, and that was on the very first episode as well. And so Riley's like, "Hi, Lucas," and she asks him if he remembers how he's like, "There's moments we're gonna remember forever." And he's like, "Yeah, why?" And she said, "This is one of them." And she kisses him, and I'm like, whoa, didn't see that one coming. But overall, to wrap this up, and I'm so sorry, this is way longer than I anticipated, I'm happy with the show. I love seeing Shawn back. Cory and Shawn are my favorite romance for sure. I'm reading my notes. Seeing Phoebe back was incredible. I loved it. The show definitely grew throughout the first season. Writers said it would, so I believed it, but it was just, you know, the pilot had those really moments, but the lessons started getting deeper. Like the Girl Meets Flaws, that was my favorite episode. And it was incredible to see the names back, but I said that at the beginning. So the chemistry was as good as ever, and that was a hope and expectation of mine. When I did the hopes and expectations video, you may be able to hear my stepdad. He's outside talking on the phone. Sorry. And so, also, another big thing is there were huge gaps in between the episodes. And this caused a lot of people not to know when it was going to be on, what time, and all of that. I mean, it would go like Friday this day at 7:30, and then not come back until like 3 Fridays later, and maybe be on at 8. So it was not very consistent, and I think that really ruined a lot of consistent watching, and I had to end up watching some on like Saturdays because I didn't get the chance. I ended up watching every episode, but where they were so scattered, it was hard to do. So I think they need to be more consistent, and I think if I read correctly, Monday starts season 2, and Monday through Friday, I think they're showing episodes. I'll have to double check on that, but crazy. I'm hoping to get this video up to you either Wednesday or Thursday, so bear with me. I talked about that. Okay, overall, what I hope to, I was impressed with Girl Meets World. Season 2, I might do a hopes and expectations for that video. I was going to. Let's just say I was going to. But the thing is, I don't have time. And honestly, this video took a long time. I'm so sorry. I don't even want to know how long this was. I'm nervous to look. And if you're still here, congratulations. Thank you for watching. Girl Meets World, good show. Boy Meets World is still my favorite of all time. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this review of Girl Meets World Season 1. And if you're going to tune in for Season 2, let me know below, or what you liked about Season 1. Anything. Girl Meets World related, Boy Meets World related. Let's talk about it. But as for now, I'll talk to you all later. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And as for now, I'll talk to you later. Until next time.